Sometimes carrying a knife, especially a fixed blade, can be a bit of a hassle and can weigh you down, but it doesn't have to be that way. The knives we're going to look at today are so light, you might even forget that you're carrying them. These aren't just great options for EDC, but they're also awesome if you're putting together a loadout for hunting, hiking, or even a get-home bag where every ounce matters. Now, my cutoff to be considered ultralight was 2 ounces or less, measured on my scale at home. Now, your definition may be different, and my measured weights may be different from what the advertised weights are, so I will make sure to give you my measured weights with each of these knives. Now, we're going to go from the cheapest options to the most expensive, and spoiler alert, my favorite actually isn't the most expensive option. Now, as always, links for where to get the knives you see here will be down in the description, and if you enjoy this list, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. With that out of the way, let's get into it. And first up, we have the Boker Packlite Cape, and this comes in at 1.6 ounces and will run you $40. Now, this is made in the USA, and it is 420HC steel, which if you're not familiar with Buck's 420HC, it is really kind of the pinnacle of what 420 can do, and that is thanks to their Boss heat treat. The scales here come in either black or orange, and to me, they're kind of more of a decoration than they are really doing anything. They do give you a little bit better grip when you're holding it like this, but I mean, doesn't make a humongous difference. Now, this also does come in a premium model that is S35VN, and that comes with micarta scales. And you're either going to love or hate the skeletonized design. Now, me personally, I am not a huge fan of the skeletonized design just because it doesn't give you a whole lot of width to really grip on for extended work. But for a couple things here and there, not extended work, I think this is great. But especially if you want to go with a minimalist option, this is definitely worth considering. And again, that is the Boker Packlite Cape. Next up, we have the Kizer Phasmids. And this also comes in at 1.6 ounces, and this is just a little bit more at $55. And this is a fairly new release from Kizer, and I think this is probably the best bang for the buck on this list. It has a 2.8-inch blade of AEBL steel, and they call this black micarta. I call it more of a gray micarta. But it is also available in D2 as far as steels, and you can also get it with a G10 or rich light scale. Now, this also comes with a great sheath, which you saw there, and it actually comes with 4 different mounting options. You can either wear it as a neck knife, because it comes with a necklace, a tech lock style clip, or it also comes with a kind of a standard metal belt clip. Now, as you could see, I didn't go with any of those. I went with soft loops to wear horizontally on the belt, but gives you lots of great options. And again, at $55 for this, and you're able to get a really great solid grip on that with 4 fingers, even with my big hands, I think this may be the best budget ultralight knife out there. And again, that is the Kizer Phasmids. Next, we have the TwoSun TS580. Now, this, the list price on this is $70, and it comes in at 1.9 ounces. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So just under that cutoff. But yeah, this will run you $70 for the list price. However, it is out of stock most places right now. I was able to find it one place on Amazon, and it is currently listed at $95 there. So it's actually listed a little bit above the list price. But this might be one of the best values as far as materials go, because for $95, or if you can find it at the list price of $70, you are getting M390 steel and carbon fiber, which is really insane for under $100. As I mentioned, this is sold out pretty much everywhere, but there is one place that you can get it right now. So I wanted to make sure to include it in this list. And this really isn't even advertised as an ultralight knife or anything. I didn't even realize it was until I looked at it and decided to weigh it. But it just sneaks in at 1.9 ounces. And again, that is the TwoSun TS580. So that is it for the budget options. That is all the ones that come in under $100. So now we're going to get into the more premium options. And up next, we have what is actually my favorite out of the bunch, and that is the Rainier Fastpak. Now this one comes in at 1.8 ounces, and it'll run you $149 with the scales here, or you can also get it skeletonized, where it just comes like this, and it kind of looks more similar to the Buck here with just that skeletonized design, but that will run you $109. So you save a little bit of money if you go with the skeletonized design. Now this is made in the USA, and this is LMAX steel, so a very, very good steel. And you can get these scales in black, green, or natural micarta. Now, if you elect to go with the skeletonized design, I'll bring the picture up here, but there's a neat little feature near the base of the knife that essentially gives you hex wrenches of different sizes. And I thought that was a nice little Easter egg that they put in there. Now, obviously you could take the scales off and use it, but at that point you have a tool to get it off, and probably kind of a moot point at that point. But it is an incentive to go with the skeletonized design if that's something that you want to get. Now, I love the ergos on this. It really melts into the hand. And despite being a small knife and me having large hands, I can really get a full 4-finger grip on this. The blade stock it tapers down here. It is a pretty slicey blade stock. It's a full flat grind at the top here. Honestly, for the value that you get here, I think it is a travesty that you really don't hear about the Fastpak very much. And that may just be because Rainier Knives is kind of a smaller company. But again, this is probably the best under the radar EDC fixed blade out there right now, in my opinion, whether you're talking about ultralight or not. So this is definitely one that I recommend taking a look at, and that is the Rainier Fastpak. Now, next, we are actually going to get into our single lightest knife out of this group, and that is the Boker BFF Packlite. Now, this came in at 1.3 ounces on my home scale, so it is a very, very light knife. And this version will run you anywhere from $170 to $190. It just kind of varies what the best price you can get on this one. There is also a skeletonized version that typically runs anywhere between $100 to $120. And what are you getting for that? Well, this is made in Germany, and it is Magna Cut steel. And it does have some other options as far as the blade finish and the scales. You can get either the stonewash finish that you see here, or you can get it with a black Cerakote. And you can also get it in either walnut or black Ultralight scales, or you can get it in skeletonized for both of those finishes. It is extremely thin down here in the grip, which if you're looking for a thin knife, that's great for me. I wouldn't have minded it being a little bit thicker so that I could get a better grip on it with my big hands. But it's just kind of a design choice thing, and you're balancing those two things. I can barely get a full 4-finger grip. I'm not really in bad danger of hanging off the bottom there, but it really just barely sneaks on there. Now, this is one that you could wear on your belt if you wanted to, but for me, especially because of just the thin design here and things like that, this was just asking to be dropped in my pocket as a pocket carry fixed blade. So that is the Boker BFF Packlite. Next, we have what is probably my favorite pocket carry fixed blade, and that is the Montana Knife Company Mini Speedgoat 2.0. Now, this came in at 1.5 ounces with these scales, and we'll talk about those here in a little bit. And this will run you $200 for the knife and $35 for these scales. And this is made in the USA, and it's released in batches. This particular one is in Magna Cut steel, but you can also get it in 52-100 if that is your preference. Now, it originally comes with a paracord wrap for the grip. And, for a hiking knife or a hunting knife, not a huge deal. Some people really, really prefer that. However, I did not like the paracord wrap, so I removed mine, and I got these scales from Inflection Design and Engineering. Now, these are made of nylon 12, which is very lightweight and a bit cheaper than, G10 and things like that. Although the company does also have G10 scales available, but those are going to be heavier, and they are also going to cost a good bit more. The nylon 12 just made sense to me, again, because it's lighter and cheaper. And really, when you're trying to minimize weight, I think it's the better option, because I think both are going to be just as about impervious to liquids and things like that as each other. Now, as I mentioned, this is my go-to option for a pocket fixed blade because the ergos are fantastic, especially with these scales on. Obviously, with my large hands, don't have a bunch of extra room down here, but really comfortable grip there. And this is one that, again, you could wear on your belt. The sheath allows for that, but it is a fantastic pocket carry fixed blade for me. So again, that is the Montana Knife Company Mini Speedgoat 2.0. And last but not least, we're going to get to the most expensive option here, and that is the Argali Serac. Now, this one just barely made the cut on my scale at home. It came in at 2 ounces. I think the advertised weight on this is actually 2.1 ounces, but I tested it repeatedly and it came in at 2 ounces on my home scale, so it did make the cut. Now, this version is Magna Cut, and that will run you $237. They also have a couple different variations that are in S35VN, and those will run you anywhere from $210 to $239, depending on the blade finish and the scales that you have on it. Now, these are made in the USA, and these are actually made by White River Knives. So if you like White River Knives, that is actually who makes this. This one, as I mentioned, is Magna Cut steel, and it has the red G10 scales here. They are all non-coated blades except for they call the stealth version, and that one comes with a black ion bond coating, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, and black G10 scales, but it has orange liners inside of the scales there. But the non-coated blades, you can either, like I mentioned, get the Magna Cut here or S35VN with either orange or green G10, and the green G10 will also have orange liners like I was describing for the stealth version. Now, it has a skeletonized design down here, which I'm assuming is to save weight, obviously, but they add enough width to it that it really doesn't feel like a skeletonized design like, say, the Buck is. Definitely gives you a bit more grip. Now, one nice little detail, especially if you're getting it as like a hunting or a camping or a backpacking knife, is this very little notch right here in the back. And what that is for is if you want to use it with a ferro rod and you're trying to strike it to start a fire. Definitely increases the utility for camping or hunting, or if you want to get it as a survival knife. So again, that is the Argali Serac. So as we've seen today, regardless of your budget, there is an ultralight EDC knife out there that will work for you. And even better, it can pull double duty as a backpacking or a hunting knife when you're trying to save every ounce that you can. Again, links for each of these will be down in the description. And there are also links to the clips or loops that I use for mounting on the sheaths as well. And if you enjoyed this list and want to see more like it, make sure you drop a like and hit the subscribe button. And if there's a specific list that you want to see, or if you have a favorite ultralight knife that I missed, let me know that down in the comments. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you in the next video.